Welcome to Headline Hub Updates. Subscribe and press the bell icon for more updates. The South China Sea is a vital artery for global trade and energy, a vast expanse of water that links continents and economies together. Every year, trillions of dollars in goods and energy supplies pass through its shipping lanes, connecting Asia to the world. From electronics and clothing to oil and natural gas, the flow of commerce here is relentless and essential for daily life across the globe. Any disruption here sends shockwaves through the global economy. Even a brief blockage or conflict could cause shortages, price spikes, and delays that ripple far beyond Asia's shores. The sea is also rich in oil, gas, and fish, resources that fuel competition among neighboring countries. These resources are not just valuable, they are vital for energy security and food supplies for hundreds of millions. Control over these waters means access to immense wealth and food security for millions. For coastal communities, the sea is a lifeline, providing jobs and sustenance for generations. Militarily, the South China Sea is a strategic chessboard. Its location makes it a gateway for naval power, surveillance, and rapid deployment. Islands and reefs can be transformed into outposts, allowing nations to project power and monitor vital sea lanes. These artificial islands are equipped with runways, radar, and missile systems, turning them into unsinkable aircraft carriers. Whoever controls these features can shape the region's security landscape, influencing who can move freely and who cannot. For centuries, these waters have connected cultures and commerce. Ancient trade routes cross these seas, bringing spices, silk, and ideas between East and West. Today they are a flashpoint for geopolitical tension. Disputes over territory and resources have led to standoffs and diplomatic crises. Competing claims and military buildups have turned the sea into a potential conflict zone, where a single miscalculation could escalate into confrontation. The struggle is about more than territory. It's about the future of international law and the balance of power in Asia. The outcome will set precedents for how nations resolve disputes on the world's oceans. The world is watching closely because what happens here will affect everyone. Decisions made in these waters can influence global trade, security, and diplomacy. The South China Sea is not just a regional issue, it's a global one. Its fate will help determine the future of international cooperation and competition. Its stability is crucial for peace, prosperity, and the rules that govern the world's oceans. The hope is for dialogue and diplomacy to prevail over conflict. The stakes could not be higher. The choices made here will echo for generations to come. The South China Sea is a maze of overlapping claims. China's sweeping 9-dash line covers nearly the entire sea, clashing with the rights of its neighbors. Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei, and the Philippines all assert their own claims, grounded in history and international law. The Philippines calls its area the West Philippine Sea, citing the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. These disputes aren't just about lines on a map, they impact fishermen, energy exploration, and national pride. Coast Guard standoffs and arrests are common, fueling daily tension. No side is willing to back down, making compromise elusive. The lack of resolution means every encounter at sea carries real risk. For millions who depend on these waters, the stakes are personal and immediate. The South China Sea's disputes are as real as the people who live with them. In 2013, the Philippines challenged China at an international tribunal. The goal to clarify maritime rights and contest China's 9-dash line under international law. In 2016, the tribunal ruled in favor of the Philippines, declaring China's historic claims invalid. The decision reinforced the legal rights of coastal states and set limits on what features could generate maritime zones. It found China had violated Philippine rights by interfering with fishing and oil exploration. China rejected the ruling outright, refusing to recognize or comply with it. This defiance exposed the limits of international law when powerful states refused to play by the rules. The legal victory gave the Philippines diplomatic leverage, but little changed on the water. The gap between law and reality remains wide. The South China Sea became a test of whether rules or raw power would prevail. Outmatched at sea, the Philippines turned to radical transparency. By embedding journalists on patrols, Manila exposes China's aggressive tactics in real time. Videos of water cannon attacks and dangerous maneuvers go viral, shaping global opinion. This strategy puts diplomatic pressure on Beijing and wins international sympathy. The world sees a David versus Goliath struggle, with the Philippines rallying support from allies. Transparency has made it harder for China to deny or distort its actions, but every publicized incident risks escalation and miscalculation. The Philippines walks a tightrope, using information as a shield but always at risk of provoking a stronger response. It's a high-stakes gamble, but one that has changed the narrative. In the information age, exposure is a powerful weapon. The Philippines is rethinking its defense for an age of maritime threats. The comprehensive archipelagic defense concept shifts focus from internal security to protecting its vast maritime domain. New radars, patrol aircraft, and drones boost awareness of what's happening at sea. Modern warships, fighter jets, and coastal missile batteries are being acquired to deter intruders. The goal isn't to match China ship for ship, but to make any attack costly and difficult, a porcupine defense. Geography is an advantage. Thousands of islands make the Philippines a tough target. The strategy is about denial, not dominance. It's a long-term effort, requiring investment and resolve. The Philippines aims to defend its sovereignty by leveraging technology, geography, and asymmetric tactics. The message: this archipelago won't be an easy prize. The Philippines knows it can't face China alone. Its alliance with the United States is the cornerstone of its security, backed by a mutual defense treaty. Joint military exercises and expanded U.S. access to bases strengthen deterrence and readiness. The Philippines is also deepening ties with Japan and Australia, who share concerns about China's assertiveness. These partnerships create a network of support, amplifying Manila's voice on the world stage. Within ASEAN, the Philippines pushes for unity and a binding code of conduct with China. Progress is slow, but Manila's activism keeps the issue alive. By combining alliances, regional partnerships, and diplomacy, the Philippines builds a collective front. The goal: to balance China's power and uphold a rules-based order. In unity, there is strength, and a better chance for peace. The Philippines is not isolated. It is part of a growing coalition. Together, they aim to keep the South China Sea open and free. China's strategy in the South China Sea is subtle but powerful, blending assertiveness with ambiguity to achieve its goals. Instead of open warfare, it uses gray zone tactics, deploying Coast Guard ships and maritime militia to harass rivals, intimidate foreign vessels, and assert its claims, all without firing a shot. Swarms of fishing vessels, often backed by the Chinese military, block access to disputed reefs, crowd out local fishermen, and create a constant atmosphere of tension and uncertainty. These actions create facts on the water, establishing a sense of control and ownership without triggering open conflict or international backlash. Behind this persistent pressure, China has rapidly constructed artificial islands, transforming reefs into military outposts bristling with runways, radars, and advanced missile systems. This network forms an anti-access/area denial, or a 2/AD bubble, making it increasingly dangerous and costly for foreign militaries to operate in the region or challenge China's presence. The A2/AD strategy could effectively isolate the Philippines in a crisis, deterring outside help and making it difficult for allies to intervene quickly or safely. China's growing military might embolden its gray zone tactics, as Beijing knows that any escalation carries significant risks for other countries in the region. The result is a multi-layered campaign of coercion, where civilian, paramilitary, and military forces work together, all backed by credible force and the threat of further escalation. For the Philippines, every encounter on these contested waters is a test of resolve, national pride, and diplomatic skill. The balance of power is shifting rapidly, and with each new standoff, the risks of miscalculation and escalation continue to grow. The South China Sea has become a proving ground for modern hybrid warfare, where military strength, legal maneuvering, and psychological pressure all play a part in shaping the future of the region. The South China Sea is a global crossroads, a vital artery connecting east and west. Every day, thousands of ships navigate these waters, carrying goods, energy, and resources that fuel economies around the world. Freedom of navigation here underpins the world's economy. Trillions in trade pass through each year. From electronics and oil to food and raw materials, the flow of commerce through these sea lanes touches nearly every nation on Earth. If one nation controls these waters, it threatens the free flow of commerce everywhere. The risk isn't just about trade, it's about power, influence, and the ability of countries to access global markets without interference. That's why major powers conduct freedom of navigation operations, challenging excessive claims and asserting the principle that these waters must remain open to all. The dispute is also a test for international law, especially the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. The world is watching to see if rules and agreements can truly keep the peace. China's rejection of the 2016 ruling challenges the rules that keep the world's oceans open and stable. This defiance raises questions about the future of international order and the ability to resolve disputes peacefully. The US-China rivalry plays out here, with the Philippines caught in the middle, its own sovereignty and security hanging in the balance as great powers compete for influence. Rising tensions mean a single miscalculation could spark a wider conflict. Even a minor incident could escalate, drawing in more countries and threatening regional stability. A clash could draw in allies and devastate the global economy, disrupting supply chains and sending shockwaves through financial markets worldwide. The world is watching because the outcome will shape the future of Asia, and the rules that govern us all. Decisions made here will echo far beyond these waters, affecting peace and prosperity everywhere. The stakes are not just regional, but truly global. What happens in the South China Sea will impact trade, security, and international law for generations to come. The South China Sea is a barometer for peace, law, and order in the 21st century, a test of whether nations can cooperate, compete, and coexist in a rapidly changing world. The Philippines' stand is about more than its own territory. It's a fight for the principles that keep the world peaceful and fair. By insisting on international law, Manila sets an example for smaller nations everywhere. Its strategy, legal action, transparency, alliances offers a model for resisting coercion without war. But the challenge is immense. China's power is growing and pressure will only increase. The outcome depends on Philippine resolve, allied support, and the world's willingness to defend the rules. The South China Sea is a defining test for the 21st century. Will might make right, or will law prevail? The answer will shape the future for all nations, large and small.